He's the author of the book Cosmic Conscious Creators, right?
Yes.
Cosmic Conscious Creators, and this is by Yomi Love. And he's in the studio because you know what? What does all of this mean to us? What does cosmic conscious creators mean to us? So, guess what? Let us find out, right? Let us find out together. So, press this share button and invite friends because this is deep. I read the book and I have a lot of questions, but I want you to listen carefully. And we do have a call-in number 917-533-9178. You can call because since I said, what does this all mean to us, then you need to ask questions. And because we are going to be promoting this book, I have read the book. 2 days it took me to read the book. I couldn't put it down. And I know you would do the same. So once again, welcome to Global Biz, the Circle of Light. Brother Blue?
Yes, welcome to our next edition. And I'm here to not only support, but to hear some of the cosmic consciousness. Mm-hmm. So, welcome again and give thanks for life.
What can I say but to welcome Brother Yomi to the studio? You know, my godson, you know, need say no more. And this is not the first venture into authorship that Yomi has been on. We also interviewed him some months ago, I believe, or time flies so fast, it could be even a year ago we interviewed him. He co-authored, well, he was part of a collection of authors who wrote a book together. And so he has been to the studio before in more than one capacity. He's been here as engineer for his dad, Ras Shaka, on the Pan-African Connection, etc., etc. So we're happy to have Yomi in the studio this evening. And, you know, I'll start off by asking Yomi, what is cosmic?
Yes, greetings, give thanks to the Global Men's family, give thanks to my godparents here for having me on, Rafi, Sister Coochie. Yes, I'm the son of Ras Shaka and Kai Cousins. What is cosmic consciousness? You know, cosmic consciousness is that oneness with the cosmos, that oneness with the universe. So to me, that's what cosmic consciousness is. And to be a cosmic conscious creator, you know, first have to realize we are creating every day, every second. And so once we tune into that cosmic consciousness, that's where we get our intuition. That's where we get our imagination. You know, our higher faculties. You know, our intuition. So that to me is the cosmic consciousness. Once you realize your oneness with the cosmos and with the universe, and you allow that awareness, that consciousness to guide you in your life. That's the cosmic consciousness that moves us from just being merely human beings to cosmic beings or spiritual beings. So, you know, it's a higher level of consciousness. You know, this is what separates us from other living beings, is that that consciousness. So that cosmic consciousness is realizing that you are one with the whole universe, and that, you know, we're not separate. We're not, you know, individuals, but we're part of a collective. Each one of us make part of the universe, and we actually have an impact on the universe. We're not separate. This is what, you know, science is catching up to what the mystics, what the prophets, what the sages have been telling us all along. We are one with the universe, and we actually impact the universe. The universe is not separate from us. So once we come to that consciousness, we move and we live in a different way. We're not just living, you know, in a rat race or just living to satisfy physical desires, but we're actually here to satisfy, you know, that divine will. So that's cosmic consciousness.
Very good. Deep. And I meant to say this earlier, and I didn't, but I'm going to say it now. We highlight a lot of negative things about our young people, especially when you're on Facebook and you see some of the unnecessary thing that they're doing and posting. Even earlier, I saw one of our daughters, a young woman in Facebook, and she went to this event. I didn't even know why she put on clothes. She might have just stood there naked. And people glorify this type of a behavior. No dignity, no self-love, no self-respect. However, I just say that to say that we have a brother who is in the studio, young brother, and he's very conscious. I mean, this is talking about consciousness, very conscious from a very young age. He has always succeeded when he went to school. He did well. He has a bachelor's degree plus more, and no mess, no jail, no nothing. And just living a clean life. We don't highlight those. You just want to think about the one them that wearing the pants below their butt, gang banging and talking nonsense. So we give thanks to have few amongst our village. And one of the questions that I really had to ask you is that since this program is about health and wellness, how does this connect with health and wellness? All this conscious cosmic creation, how does it connect? What if somebody call and says, Sister Gucci, your program you were talking about herbs and healing. Make a connection, please.
Yeah, I mean it's all connected, you know, it's all one, you know. So when we're talking about health, for instance, or we're talking about healing, you know, everything starts with if you want to be healthy, you have to have a healthy consciousness. You have to have a health consciousness, you know. So the foods we take in, you know, a lot of people know you're supposed to eat vegetables, right? A lot of people know you're supposed to eat your fruits. A lot of people know, you know, they say 8 glasses of water a day. But why don't we do it? It's because of the consciousness. Our consciousness determines our action, our behavior. So if you don't have the right consciousness, then you're not going to have the right behavior. A lot of times we try to change the behavior without first going to the consciousness. So everything first begins with the consciousness, and your consciousness will create your reality. Once I made that decision to be healthier, you know, I had to change my whole lifestyle, right? We say we don't want to diet, right? We don't want to diet. We want a lifestyle. So in order to change your lifestyle, you have to change your way of thought. You have to change your consciousness. So if we're talking about healing, we got to talk about our consciousness. What was the consciousness that created those unhealthy behaviors or those unhealthy patterns, right? So we have to go to the root. We always have to go back to the consciousness, because everything first starts with the consciousness. That's why it's cosmic conscious creator. You cannot create a different reality if you're not dealing with the consciousness, you know. So I think a lot of times we get in trouble. We try to change something without first dealing with the consciousnness that created the behavior. Like you said about this young sister, no self-love, no self-respect, you know. So instead of just us attacking that person or attacking somebody's unhealthy behaviors or unhealthy habits, we got to figure out what's the consciousness that created those behaviors, and then how do we change that? How do we get them to realize they actually have autonomy over their life? Because a lot of people just see themselves with a victim consciousness, right? I see a lot of people when they become healthy or sick or diseased, they give up. You know, they think there's no hope for them. They don't realize that they can be a conscious creator of their environment, of their reality, and instead they see themselves just as merely victims of their environment or their reality. So I think once we get our people to realize they are creators, that they actually impact the world, they have an impact on their life, and life isn't just happening to them, but they're actually creating their life. It shifts how our people are going to behave. It's definitely create a shift in terms of when you talk about health, definitely creates a shift in terms of now that I'm responsible for my life, I'm responsible for any dis-ease going on in my life. You know, that's going to change my behavior. I've become more conscious of, you know, what am I eating? You know, how much exercise am I getting? And then also, who am I interacting with? Because if the people around me are unhealthy, more than likely, I'm going to pick up some of their unhealthy habits as well. So we also, you know, once we get this idea in our head that we are the creators of our reality, we are creating our life, and we create it in the image that we have in our mind, then it transforms all our actions, all our behavior.
You know, I like that concept. We are the creators of our own reality, because a lot of times folks can't make that connection, that by their actions, by their thoughts, by their deeds, you know, by how they carry themselves by the things they do in their lives, that is the reality of who they are. And so if you can control what you do,
Right.
then you have a grasp of how to live wholesomely in wellness in this existence.
Right.
Right. Definitely. And you know, at the beginning of the book, it's pretty much part of the introduction, because sometimes when people talk about the intangible, the unseen, it's very hard for us to grasp of the unseen. You don't see the air, but at least you can feel it. You know, how about you wrote this, and I'm gonna read it, and I'm quoting Brother Yomi Love in his book, from the book Cosmic Conscious Creators, and he said, an invisible power that resides in us all. Please elaborate on this invisible power that resides in us all. How do we tap into this power?
There's many ways to tap into this invisible power. You know, we all have it. It goes by many different names, and different cultures have different names. You know, some people, we just call it the energy. Some people call it, your chi or your ki, or the Indians call it your prana. Your sekam. So this invisible energy, your spirit. The Christians talk about the Holy Spirit. So to tap into this invisible power, first we have to become conscious of it, right? We have to slow down our lives. A lot of times we're living merely on a physical level, right? But we're primarily spiritual beings, so people do different things to tap into that spiritual power, that life force. Some people meditate. You can pray. It's all different forms of tapping into that sacred power. But one of the things, I was just having a conversation with a brother yesterday. One of the tricks of the oppressor was introducing this idea of a secular world. Like there's a separation between this invisible world and the physical world. In our culture, we never had that idea. Our ancestors walk with us. We're always in touch with them. We always give honor and respect to our ancestors, the unseen beings, right? We always have had that connection, and we always had this idea of there's sacredness in every day, in every moment. We didn't have to have a specific day for the Sabbath, because every day was sacred, every moment. So once we get back to that consciousness that we are spiritual beings, and we leave room in our lives, taking that stillness. Sometimes for some people, it's going out into nature is when they feel that invisible force, that energy within them. So it's quieting it's always there. We just have to quiet the distractions. There's a lot of physical distractions, and nowadays even worse than ever. They say, the attention span is, very low these days, this generation. Everything is very fast. You live in a microwave generation, so it's really about slowing down. And in order to I would say you have to speed up your vibration. You have to slow down physically to speed up your spiritual vibration, or just your vibration in all, which is how you tap into those that unseen invisible force.
Okay. Well said. Well said.
I'll just say, cutting off the phone is an example. Cutting off the TV. Fasting. Every culture talks about fasting. Just giving your physical body a rest. They say when your conscious mind is asleep, that's when your subconscious mind is awake. Your subconscious mind is your connection to your divine. So you want to do those things, slow down what you're doing on a conscious level to tap more into that invisible power within you.
Wow, very deep, very deep. And it's more to come. Global Mental Circle of Light, and we are here talking to our godson, Yomi Love, about Cosmic Conscious Creators. He wrote a book. But I have another question, but we still, I read the book, so I may have many. So this one, and I'm reading from page 16 from your book, and it says, before you answer, I'm just going to make a little comment. The circumstances of your life are attracted to you based on your thoughts and feelings. So when we talk about circumstances in your life, does it mean women saying or somebody saying, I always attract the wrong type of brother. He's always negative, beating on me, abusive. All brother can say the same thing. Is that what you're talking about? The circumstances of your life attracting, staying based on your thoughts and your feelings?
You have a comment?
No, I just asked the question and then I asked you again based on what you said. The circumstances.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so yes, everything in your life, like we were talking about the impact of your thoughts, but it's your thoughts and your feelings because your feelings amplify those thoughts, amplify the vibration. So yeah, everything that's showing up in your life is a reflection of your consciousness, of your thoughts and your feelings. So yes, if a woman says, she's only attracting a certain type of man, there's something going on either consciously or subconsciously, because sometimes it could be subconscious, right? We're not even aware of what's going on a subconscious level. The subconscious level is the storehouse of your beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you believe? If you're going around with the belief, that there are no good men are dogs, you're repeating that to yourself, then that's what the universe is going to show you. We're connected with the universe. We're not separate from the universe. So whatever you're putting out there, that's going to be reflected back to you in your circumstances.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that's where on the another paragraph you mentioned, you attract what you think and feel. You solely create your reality because you have full control over what you think and what you feel.
Yeah, we say our thoughts become things. They become manifest in our physical reality. The things our dominant thoughts, what we think about over and over again, they tend to show up in our life in some form. So we have the ability to change our thoughts. As Rosby was saying, we have the ability to think positive thoughts or think a different thought. But if you have a negative thought pattern, then that's going to be patterned. That's going to show itself. That's going to reflect itself in your physical environment, your physical circumstances. So a lot of times we don't make that connection, like Rosby, between what we're thinking in our minds, in our head, our consciousness, and what actually shows up. We don't know we're actually, the same way we have the power to speak life into people, we can speak death into people, we can speak death over our own lives. So we don't realize when we're sitting there, talking down on men, that we're actually attracting that type of man into our life, So, that's part of the reason for the book is, we want to make that connection that we're actually the ones creating our reality. So once we become aware of that, we can create better realities for ourselves.
So we can put to rest forever and ever the saying that if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're gonna get a particular result. If you don't change the way you do it, you're gonna always keep getting that result. And that's a profound saying.
And not just what you're doing, but what you're thinking, which is also doing. What you're thinking, your thoughts. It really comes down to your beliefs, because a lot of times people will try to change, but they haven't changed their mentality or their mindset. They haven't changed their beliefs, So it's really going to show up in your life. You can't fake what you believe. You can't fake your vibration. We say energy doesn't lie, right? So you can't fake that. So until you deal with your belief system, until you deal with your consciousness, your thoughts and your feelings, it's they have to match up.
But Brother Yomi, you mentioned, even if you're not aware of it, because you mentioned your subconscious mind, how do you change it? How do you deal with it? I'm thinking positive. I really want to do good, but my subconscious mind is telling me otherwise. Isn't that like something that you really have to fight with, struggle with? Your subconscious mind, because it's not you really, because you don't want to think that way, but then your subconscious mind, whatever that means. Go into that, brother.
Yeah, so your subconscious is that part of your mind that you're not conscious of. So like you said, you could be consciously desiring something, but then subconsciously you have something that contradicts that desire or that belief or that thought, not necessarily the belief, because the belief is what you are thinking over and over again. So once you become aware, it's no longer in your subconscious mind. So, you have to dig deep. Like, sometimes people will say, consciously, they're like, they want to be rich. They want a lot of money, right? But they've been taught all throughout their life that, money is the root of all evil. So these are two contradictory thoughts, right? So what wins out? 90% of the time we're dealing on a subconscious level. Once something becomes habit, or once something becomes a pattern, we no longer have to think about it. Then it's autopilot. It's on your subconscious mind. So if there's a contradiction between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, your subconscious mind is going to win out. So the thing is, you don't know what's happening on a subconscious mind, but you start to think about it and you find out what your subconscious blocks are, then you can change those things. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes another thing you can do is just stretch yourself in a small way and realize you gain a momentum. For instance, you may have a belief you can't get $1 million, but you believe you can make $100. So you go for $100, you prove that to yourself, and then you have momentum on your side. Then you can go for bigger and bigger goals. So you want to have, and the feelings. This is where the feelings come into place. When you tell yourself something, you have a feeling. Does it feel true to you? So if you're saying something you want, but you have a negative feeling, then there's something on a subconscious level that is in disagreement, that is in contradiction to what you're telling yourself. So sometimes people affirm things, but they don't really believe what they're affirming, right? So they're just affirming it. But if you're triggering a negative feeling when you're affirming something, you have to deal with that. So the thing is to find those. Well, one way is to find those affirmations that are true for you. Because we're always growing. So maybe you can't believe that you can make $1 million, but you can believe that you can make $100. So you keep on stretching, and once you show yourself something to be true, then you can stretch a little further. So maybe something is out of your reach in your consciousness at the moment. That doesn't mean it's always going to be out of your reach. So if we go back to this woman, she's only attracting bad men. She can look at other people and say, well, there are some people. You look for examples to prove it true. Like you can look for examples. Like there are women who are in good relationships. There are good men out there. So you find how you can stretch your beliefs.
Okay, good. And again, here we go. Thoughts become things.
Right.
You wrote at page 21. A manifestation is nothing but holding a pure intention. So it's saying that this is basically saying that when it manifests is because you hold that pure intention.
Yes. So a pure intention, just go back to what we were just talking about. Pure intention is when you intend something without any resistance. So that negative feeling, that's the resistance. That's your awareness. That's a clue that you have some negative resistance. But a pure intention, there's no doubt, there's no fear, there's no worry. But a lot of times we'll say something and then we'll put a but. As soon as you say but, you're contradicting what came before the but. So I want a good woman, but and then you come up with all these excuses why you can't attract a good woman or you can't attract a bad man. So whatever came after the but, that's what's holding you back. That's what's contradicting you. That's what's contradicting your conscious desire. So a pure intention though is when you intend something. I intend for this to happen, and it's pure if there's no but. There's no contradictory feeling. There's no negative feeling, or there's no contradictory phrase after. That but is always a signal that there's some kind of contradiction in your vibration. It's like you going
some kind of doubt. Yes.
Some kind of doubt.
Wouldn't it be realistic for you to have a doubt because you do have unrealistic, feelings or desire, expectation, and how do you deal with unrealistic? Because let's say Brian come and say, you know what, I just want to be the president of the United States. How do I deal with something like that? How do somebody deal with something that is unrealistic? And you cannot, there's certain thing that is just unrealistic.
Who says so?
I say so.
Well, you are limiting yourself then. The whole point of the book is that you are the creator of your reality. You got to stand on that. So if you're the creator of your reality, nobody can tell you what is realistic or not realistic for you. If something comes up as a desire inside of you, then that's meant for you. You know, so you don't ever want to limit yourself and say something that's unrealistic. You know, a lot of times, you know, we go by what's already happened. The whole point of Cosmic Conscious Creator is that you want to push the boundaries of what is realistic. You know, if we just going by based on what other people have done, we're gonna stay limited. We're never going to expand. But we know we're in a expanding universe where we live in an abundant universe. There are infinite possibilities, and we close ourselves off to these possibilities when we start to say something that's unrealistic. So we never want to go against ourselves. We never want to limit our own dreams, our own desires, our own goals. You know.
But
and as soon as you say "but," you're contradicting something. But go ahead.
Yes, I'm contradicting. Well, I don't know if I'm contradicting, but I'm saying the person who has expectations, setting goals, etc., has to have some point where they temper those expectations and possibilities because of circumstances and situations that don't make it possible for them to attain this or that goal or expectation. Because if you don't do that, then you will create confusion in your mind and might create some sort of discombobulation in how you're living your life.
Yeah. So I would say to that there's a lot of people who've done things that were unrealistic at the time until they did them. You know, if you're a creator of your reality, then you're going to do things that are unrealistic, that are quote unquote impossible. You know, I give an example in there about Roger Bannister. There was a time when it was unrealistic for a human being to run the mile in under 4 minutes. Then once he did it, you saw hundreds of people be able to break that 4-minute barrier. You know, because we limit ourselves. We don't realize how powerful we are. You know, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. You know, it's up to you. Your belief in yourself, your self-perception of yourself. And we don't want to get to the point where we start putting limiting beliefs on ourselves. You know, so we want to stretch what is possible, stretch what is believable, stretch what is realistic. And if it hits that point, like I said, you want to go to the point where you start to feel a negative feeling. If you start to feel doubt, okay, so then that's where you're at. You know, you want to go up to your doubt. You want to constantly be breaking beyond what is realistic, what is possible. That's the whole point of being a conscious creator. You want to change the paradigm of what is possible, what is realistic. You want to create something that's never been created. You can't create something that's never been created if you're only going based on what everybody else thinks is realistic or what everybody else thinks is possible.
Well, you know, I understand what you're saying and also what Raspi said. So I'm just going to give a scenario right here and see how do we deal with that. Because when I have clients that come to me, I don't like to be negative. I don't like to sound negative or give them advice that they are not prepared to hear. The sister who came to me and she already had children, and the person that she was seeing, much younger brother, he wanted children more. And her age, that was number one, way up in age, they're past childbearing age. So when she came to me, she wanted me to give her, I guess maybe she was looking for miracle, herbal herbs to this and to that, and to help her conceive. So I said to her, do you know how the body works? And I tried to tell her, at your age, I mean, of course, nothing is impossible, but sometimes you're looking for a miracle, that miracle ain't gonna come. Because a 90 years old woman can't come and tell me, Sister Kucha, I want to have a baby. Give me some herbs. That's some kind of unrealistic thinking right there. I mean, I didn't want to say you cannot have a baby because I'm not God, but if you're coming to me, you're menopause, menopausal years, and you're telling me that you want me to give you something because this brother wants baby or he's going to leave. Isn't that unrealistic?
Yeah, it's certain things, like if she's menopausal, I don't think that can be reversed. But there was a woman just now in the news, I think 2 weeks ago, 50 something, who gave birth. So like you said, we don't want to limit people and say something is impossible. I don't know her situation, but you know, that was something that was considered impossible. I would have said until I heard about it that was impossible for a woman to be 50 something years old and getting pregnant. So we just don't want to be the ones limiting ourselves.
Of course, there are always outliers.
Right.
But yeah, this is what I'm saying. We want to be the outliers. We want to be the ones to create new paradigms. This is what the book is about, becoming those cosmic conscious creators. We don't want to just be doing what everybody else is doing. We want to be the outliers. We want to be the exceptional ones until it's no longer exceptional, until those miracles are no longer exceptional. And we understand how the universe works, that these things that we call miracles right now, it's just us tapping into that, again, that invisible power within all of us, you know.
Very good. Well said.
All right. We have an active audience here on Sister Coach's Facebook page. We have Sister Beverly Brown, Sister Zariah, who says, "Blessed up, brother, you." Let's see. Somebody says, "Sister Coochie, your face looks nice and fresh." I want the secret.
7 days detox.
And Karine White says, "Oh yes, I was saying the same thing. Sister Coochie's skin looks so healthy. Congrats, Yomi, on your book."
Give thanks.
Ikemba Balanta is watching, and he says, "I'm glad I didn't miss you all. My brother Yomi, love, I have my copy." Casey McFarlane Kasim is watching. Sister Zariah says, "Climbing Mount Everest was once impossible."
Wow.
Right,
And you know what? He's right. And I don't really want to, like I say, when people come to me, like, I don't want to give you that hope that you're like, okay, but what happened here? And I'm putting it out there because you have to have unrealistic dreams and demands on yourself. And sometimes and I'm just going to put this fast one out there, just to allow people to tap within yourself and find out what is real, what can be real to you. There's a sister who, again, we're going into pregnancy, wanted to have a child for this brother really, really, really bad. She already had, I think, a daughter. And it wasn't the age, but it was a medical condition. And several doctors warned her about getting pregnant. You know, could be detrimental. And they point out to her what was going on. And I guess in her mind, she believed that she could overcome, or she didn't trust what the doctor was saying. She got pregnant. And it's a very close friend of ours, fiance then, and she died. So, you know, what do you say about something like that?
So she did get pregnant.
And she died.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's an example right there. I think a lot of times, there's the placebo effect and there's the nocebo effect. A lot of times the doctors will tell you something. They're in the business of creating fear. They base off of fear. What I'm hearing there is the power of the mind, the power of her consciousness. Even the doctors were telling her, they said she couldn't get pregnant.
No, she said if she did,
the consequences of her getting pregnant would be dire.
Yeah. But like I said, I understand in terms of doctors putting fear in you, but sometimes we have to look at science. And I'm going to run this quick one. There's someone who I am dealing with right now, and the doctor gave her 6 to 8 months to live. And she said, everyone that's in the group with her saying, is, well, you need to pray, you need to fight this, you can't give up. Doctors don't know what they're saying. And she said, I had 2 husbands that passed of cancer, and I know a lot about it. I've done enough studies. The doctors showed me my blood result. They showed me exactly what is happening. And it's inevitable. No matter how much you want me to live, you want to pray. So then I wasn't the only one that said, well, Liz, but you don't believe in miracle? She said, anything is possible. But right now, I'm preparing my funeral because I saw proof that I don't want to go through what my 2 husbands went through, dying of cancer the way they did. It was painful for me and painful for them. And I want to make sure that when that time comes, you don't pray for me to live. Just pray for me to live in peace. So it's somebody who's saying, she is not claiming that she want to live. She's 80 something years old, and she said, I believe the doctors because I've been there before with my 2 husbands. So should we continue? Like, we are still saying, her, no, there's a miracle. Things can happen. The doctors are not always right. Or is she giving up by saying, look, I'm accepting it because I see it coming. I'm feeling it in my body. I don't want to do chemo radiation. I don't want to go through that torture. I just feel like when the time comes, I'm ready. As opposed to like what we are saying, why can't you pray? Why can't you meditate and live it? Why can't you eat healthier? Why don't you go to a holistic doctor? And she said, I'm not doing any of that. This is it.
That's a personal choice.
Right.
Yeah, that's a choice. I mean, I don't believe in,
Giving up.
this is no, I'm gonna say I don't believe in, this physical life is the end all be all. If she decides that, she's ready to move on, she's ready to transition, I would respect that, and I would bless that, if that's, I do think it's possible. I do think there are plenty of stories of, what we call miracles. And I think these miracles are us just not having an understanding or a full understanding of how the universe works. I don't think there's ever, anything that's impossible to heal, but that's not to say that that's her path, but, she's accepted, she's ready to move on. That's a personal choice. But I do believe in, what we call miracles is just us not fully understanding how the universe works. And we will get to the point where these things that we call miracles are
Understandable.
There's a science to these so-called miracles. So I don't think there's a point where the body can't heal itself, or that invisible power within us, can't restore us to our full health. But if we take in our mind, if we accept the fact that we're going to die, then we're going to die. That's the nocebo effect. They show when these doctors tell you 6 months or 8 months, people die exactly at that 6 months or 8 months because now they program that into their subconscious. So these things that we program into ourselves, they manifest.
Yes, very good. And I guess maybe that's why you wrote on page 24 that your food is either your poison or it can be your medicine. So that goes to your thoughts as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything is energy. That's the whole basis of the book. Is everything is energy, from your food, from the people you surround yourself with, from the thoughts you're having. It's all energy, and everything is either feeding your life force or it's taking away from your life force. Our food, that was one of the biggest consciousness shifts for me, was when somebody told me that your food is either your medicine or your poison. So we don't look at food. A lot of times we look at food just for pleasure. We're just feeding our belly, but we actually want to eat to live. And so if we have that mindset that what we're taking in, this food we're taking in, is actually medicine for us, it should be to help us live and help us, so it's supposed to give us energy, right? So, food is not supposed to be making us tired. We're not supposed to be getting the itis after we eat, but it come now that just becomes regular. That's become normalized. So the same thing with, I have this disease, I'm going to die. No, we don't have to just accept these as facts. We can say there's always the possibility to turn around the direction of our life. There's always the possibility to increase our life force. So our food can increase our life force or it can decrease our life force. Our thoughts. It's been proven that our thoughts affect our health. You know, so if you're constantly thinking negative things, or they say stress is the #1 killer, but what is stress? Stress is how you're perceiving your circumstances, right? Two people can be in the same exact situation, same exact circumstances, and because of their thoughts, because of their consciousness, how they perceive that reality, it's going to have a different effect on their health. So our thoughts are definitely either, like we said, either you're speaking life to yourself or you're speaking death over yourself. So our thoughts can either improve our life or they can take the energy out of our life.